Sarah Kane, celebrated playwright, renowned, infamous. At 23 she wrote Blasted, and the tabloids were outraged at scenes of cannibalism and male rape. Others, though, said she was the playwright of her generation. Harold Pinter lauded her. But at 28 the demons of depression took over, and with a shoelace she hanged herself.
Sarah was a very independent person. She was had a very independent spirit. She was quite a feisty sort of girl, and she wasn't afraid to stick up for her rights. She was a very loving daughter. She cared a lot about people, injustices in the world, and this was reflected in her plays.
Sarah was a true poet of the theatre. Line by line, her writing and her honesty has a sort of hallucinatory clarity which speaks volumes in the contemporary era.
But Sarah Kane suffered from terrible depression. She had talked often about wanting to kill herself, and on February 17 she was admitted to London's King's College Hospital after taking 185 tablets. She survived, but psychiatrists warned she should be kept under observation. Somehow that message didn't get through to the nurses. Today's inquest heard there was a whole 90 minutes from the time she was last seen to when she was found hanging in the ward's lavatory. Her family wants to know why.
I am angry. I am very angry. I've made it clear to the hospital that we are not seeking financial compensation. What we want is answers to what led up to the death of our daughter. We also want to prevent this happening from somebody else's child in hospital.
The coroner said a clear case of suicide, and it was only a matter of, as she says, time and opportunity before Miss Kane attempted to take her own life, and sadly on this occasion was successful.
Do you think, in your mind, that the hospital did everything possible to prevent this suicide?
I'm convinced that we did do everything that we could possibly do, both ourselves and the mortuary hospital, to prevent the suicide, yes.
The wrangling will continue, no doubt, after life, as the controversy did during her life. The Daily Mail's critic wrote of Blasted, "Until last night I thought I was immune from shock in any theatre. I'm not," while the Evening Standard said it was sheer, unadulterated brutalism. But in all four of her plays, Sarah Kane wanted the rawness to gather in the audience, make them think rather than just sit and take. Crave and Cleansed were lyrical, about love, beauty and death.
I think from her very first play, Blasted, she lobbed a hand grenade into kind of contemporary politics and theatre, and she already became famed and celebrated for what she was doing. I think you know yourself, when somebody dies in such circumstances, they become iconic, but in a way that's the least interesting thing about her. It's the plays that will live on.
Sarah Kane was tortured by her depression, and she wanted to die, that's clear. And she was a woman of extremes whose highs and lows fed into her writing, but weren't necessarily autobiographical. Although that will be hard to remember next year when the Royal Court Theatre premieres her final play, 4.48 Psychosis, a play that culminates in the suicide of a young woman.